Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and I am really glad to be back here in Chautauqua County and sharing today with you. Barb and I got a chance to go to Florida and visit with our son Sean and his family, and I want to do a special shout out to my grandson Caden, who tells me that he watches the show every week just about on YouTube. How cool is that? So good morning, Caden, and I better mention Braxton, your older brother, and Raleigh, your younger brother. And Rowan, well, he's too little. He won't even know what we're talking about here. But hi, kids. I'm glad you're tuning in and watching this. And we had a great visit with you all last week. Last week, you watched Angie Janowski here on Chautauqua Sunrise, and that was pre-taped. So sometimes we can do a little bit of TV magic here and show up in two different places at the same time. So it was a great opportunity to get away. And everybody said, well, how was the weather down there? Oh, of course it was warmer till Wednesday. Wednesday, I think it was like 30, 32 degrees, 29 degrees, and it was like 40 there. It was really cold. So, but it had been really nice weather up to that point. So, and we're going to be in for some nicer weather next few days, I see. Mayville, you win. Ripley, we had snow, but nothing compared to what you have out here. Holy mackerel. When I pulled up this morning to the studio, you got mountains of snow everywhere. So I was watching it carefully on the weather station while we were down in Florida, and we were seeing that there was quite a bit of snow, especially east of here. So I hope everybody's safe and sound and that you've been able to dig out, and we're going to get some warmer weather and the snow melts once again. So anyways, good to be with all of you. And to mention being with you, I want to say good afternoon to our friends at WRFA 107.9, Low Power to the People. Thanks for tuning in here on the radio station, and I hope that our show today is of great interest to you, because I know it's going to be for me, because, well, I won't tell you quite yet. Okay, so today also, soon as I'm done here, I'm going to be buzzing out of here, and I'm going to be going over to the Fluvanna Community Church, and maybe some of you will be doing the same thing right after the show. We're going to be working with the Blue Star Moms, remember them? And they were on the show here a couple times, and we're going to be putting together packages for our troops overseas, and that should be a lot of fun. So my Rotary Club, Westfield Mayville Rotary Club, we put together some stuff for them and some toothbrushes and all kinds of little doodads to put into the boxes. So looking forward to doing that, and that's taking place right up to about noon today. All right, Justin, you got your Christmas shopping done?
Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, except for the studio people.
Oh, you want me to show you this, did you? Okay, well, as you know, I am going to work with the Blue Star Moms, and I am a proud dad of a Green Beret. My son Scott is Special Forces, and so I know that when he was overseas many different times, he really appreciated getting a package from home and a little letter from one of the students or whatever, and he ended up having pen pals, and it really makes a difference. So that's great, and hats off to the Blue Star Moms for doing that. Okay, 24 more days at Christmas, and then we start all over again. I've been thinking about what I'm going to get, but when you look at the commercials on TV, there used to be a time where you would buy somebody like a shirt or maybe a piece of jewelry. Now it's like a car, a trip to Asia. It's like, what? So we try to keep it practical in our house, but looking forward to getting together with family as always, and so that should be a lot of fun this year once again. Got the tree up, and I guess decorations are screaming out in the basement to come out of their boxes. And as you can tell, we have decorated with and spared no expense here at the studio. We always laugh. Can you get a picture of our Charlie Brown tree? Can you catch that? We pulled it out this morning. It was, oh my gosh. It looks pretty good on TV, but if you get close up to it, it's pretty rough. Okay. Anyways, and we dug out our wreath, so we're in the Christmas spirit here. Okay, I want to tell you that today our topic for our show, before I do all my community announcements, today's topic is going to be complete streets. I wonder what that could be all about. Am I shaking or is there an earthquake here? I said, I think my eyes are going. So anyways, complete streets is going to be our topic, and I'll be introducing our guests here a little bit. But let's get to some announcements, and then we'll be moving right along. All right, let's start out with our good friends at Infinity. They're having a flapjack fundraiser at Lakewood's neighborhood Applebee's over on Fairmont Avenue. And it's going to be next Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. Tickets are only $6 each, and it's good for all. You can eat pancakes, bacon, and drinks. Now, the Burts, you got to be here. You can't be over there. Yeah, that's right. Maybe they do takeout, but I need you guys here. Santa will be joining guests for breakfast. To be sure to bring your camera. All proceeds help provide, as you know, music and arts instruction to the area youth at the Infinity Center in downtown Jamestown. And while I'm thinking about it, a big shout goes out to my buddy Autumn Echo. She is moving on to motherhood and she's leaving Infinity. I don't know if it's permanently, but she's not going to be there at least for a while. So good for you guys. I hope all goes well, Autumn, and thank you so much for all your work at Infinity. I know I've worked with you over the years, and it's been a lot of fun, so best wishes. Another announcement, and we have a poster on this one. Infinity is seeking artists for its 5th annual art market and auction. Now, this is sort of like a mark your calendar kind of a thing, because it's not going to be till March 9th, but they're looking for, let me find it here, folks that are going to be showcased, and that would be artists that were willing to, provide things for the auction, and it's going to be they're accepting registration up till January 15th. I got to kind of plow through this whole thing. So if you're interested, give Mariah Melendi a call at 664-0991. And there's some really cool art that they produce over there, and I'm sure that you'd be interested to have that in your home. So March 9th, 9th is the auction and so forth, but they do need you to register by January 15th. Okay, let's move right along with the next one. Home for the Holidays, Palette Painting with Renee. That's going to be held today, 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Grape Discovery Center, just down the way over in Westfield on Route 20. Cost is $25. Renee will help you paint Home for the Holidays on a 14-inch by 16-inch wood palette. Wines and stacks are available, and it's not too late to give them a call to find out more information at 326-2003. Okay, moving along. Today's another fun day. We've got Gobble Gobble, Death and Trouble. This is a fun show. It's a little bit of a mystery play. I think it's a murder mystery play that's being sponsored by the Ripley Library and for the Ripley Library Building Fund. And it goes like this: Who would have done away with the Wizard of White Meat at Thanksgiving? And they already had one production of this, and I saw the reviews, and it was really a lot of fun, and everybody enjoyed it. But today at 6 p.m., the second and final showing will be at Noble Winery over at 8630 Hardscrabble Road in Westfield. Tickets are $25 at the door. I was going to say you can do pre-sale. Maybe you still can do pre-sale. If you want to, you got to go to the library or to the winery. So hurry and get them. If you have questions at all, give them a call at 736-3913. Gobble Gobble, Death and Trouble. Sounds like a Harry Potter movie. 6 o'clock today. Check it out. Okay. Annual Soup Dinner. Going to be held December 3rd. This is with the Westfield Community Kitchen. All right, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Methodist Church Fellowship Hall on Main Street in Westfield. Adults, $8. Children 5 and under, $3. Family of 20, $20. That's a bargain. A variety of soups from Westfield restaurants and individuals. They tell me it's fabulous, and they do this just about every year. Okay, this is moving to Jamestown. Rolling Hills Radio from my buddy Ken Harley. He's got his next episode of Rolling Hills, and let me dig my way through this real quick here. Okay, December 3rd, Cozy Sheridan is someone who's going to be there and personifies the extremely talented work that they provide, whose dedication to her art and her craft has been unwavering for decades. Ken says, you have my personal guarantee that she'll own the room in short order. Then there's the Divines. They are the kind of music they've had before, and he's proud to present since the very outset of the show in 2010. So they're in their 8th season. They're tremendously talented guys from the Rochester area. And thanks to Rick Simpson, the radio personality and manager, late of Gumbo Variations, WRUR, for making sure this connection stays alive. Okay, December 3rd is going to be the one-time return of Jason Sample from WRFA. He's going to be the announcer. What's going on? Okay, and let's see what else we got going on here. Also, Neil Justin is coming into town. He's the entertainment reporter for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Neil and Ken have had a lot of fun hanging out together and talking about Rolling Hills Radio, Garrison Keillor's new enterprise, the state of entertainment and life in general, will also be discussed. Neil's coming to Jamestown to cover the Comedy Center and time the trip so they could catch up on Rolling Hills Radio on December 3. Okay, so all in all, if you want tickets, they did not give me the phone number. All right, but you can go online. I know you can, and you can get your tickets that way. Okay, lots of good things going on there. Okay, that was kind of tricky to read. Johnson, McCowayak and Associates, they have a cybersecurity event that they're announcing through the Chamber of Commerce, and it's going to be for today's digital world, an event featuring Jared Koopman, Director of Cybercrime, the Department of the Treasury IRS Criminal Investigation Department. The event will be held at the Clarion Hotel, 30 Lakeshore Drive East in Dunkirk on Friday, December 7th at 9 a.m. The event is free and open to the public, but seating is limited. So if you're interested, you got to register and give them a call at their office at 672-4770 by December 3rd. So I provide that as a public service because cybersecurity is just a big deal these days, and got to protect yourself. Okay, let's go back to Ripley. We have Christmas in Ripley. It's a craft and vendor fair on December 8th, so that'll be next week, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Ripley Central School Gymnasium. Join them for fun, food, and shopping. It's sponsored by the Ripley Renaissance Committee, dedicated to bringing Ripley together in a renewed sense of community. All right, let's keep moving. Panel discussion on marijuana, medicinal cannabis versus recreational marijuana. It's a panel discussion sponsored by our friends over at CASIC. It's a free event at Fredonia State University at McEwen Hall, room 209 on Wednesday, December 12th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. This is a hot topic and everybody is weighing in on this. Everybody has their own opinion, so this would be a real interesting discussion. Okay, who's going to be there? Christine Schuyler from the Chautauqua County Health Commission is going to be there. Andy O'Brien for UPMC Chautauqua. Will Jones, Smart Approaches to Marijuana. Dr. Robert Whitney and Melanie Witowski from CASIC. This is all brought to you free of charge by CASIC. Pre-registration, though, is required. For more information, give Kathy Colby a call at 664-3608. All right, and we have one more from CASIC. Free parenting classes are going to be offered in Dunkirk. Build a strong foundation for your children. Your child's first years are so important. Learn how to make the most of them with active parenting first 5 years. In this program, you'll learn the best ways to nurture your child from birth to pre-K with a just right combination of freedom and nonviolent discipline. Give your kids a strong start. I believe they did this in Jamestown earlier this year because I remember talking about this. It's two 4-hour session for parenting groups. It's December 6th and 13th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. over at the CASIC office at 51 East 3rd Street, Suite 2 in Dunkirk. And this is what you're going to cover. Imagine this if you're a first-time parent. What do baby's cries mean? Ages and stages of development. Building a strong bond. Your child's growing brain. Using mindfulness to keep your cool. Effective discipline your young children can understand, choices and consequences, and 6 ways to prepare your child for school success, and much, much more. And this is sponsored through the United Way of Southern Chautauqua County. And finally, just a reminder, this time of year is Chautauqua gift card time. And the folks over the chamber want me to remind you that over 120 different shops use this Chautauqua card. You can purchase them at a variety of places, and the whole idea is to shop locally. And this program has impact because it helps keep the $3 million business that we have here in Chautauqua County going. So I love this shop locally. We have just so many good things, and it doesn't always have to be on the internet. Okay, I like to touch and feel things and make sure it's good quality, and that's what they offer. If you want to buy one of these cards, give Becky Vody a call at 366-6200 or 484-1101. So that concludes my messages, but I do want to remind you before I go to the break here that if your club or organization has something they want us to share, send it to us. You can email us. Throughout the show today, if you have an announcement or you have a question for us, you can give us a call at 753-5225. You go away for a vacation, you forget the numbers. You can Twitter us, you can email us, you can go on Facebook, you can go wherever you want. You can knock on the door, give them a slip of paper, but do call us. Don't be shy, and if you don't want to talk to me directly live, that's okay. They'll take down the message and they'll send me a little text message or drop me a line in here. Okay, we're going to take a breather and we're going to be right back with Complete Streets. Stay tuned.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Okay, folks, thanks for coming back with me here at Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today is Mikayla Certo, and she is the Chautauqua County Health Network Community Project Coordinator. That's a mouthful.
It is.
And our topic today is complete streets, and we'll get to that in a minute if that's okay.
Yeah.
So how are you this morning?
I'm great.
You're sitting here watching me going through all those announcements and trying to make sense of it, huh? Lots of things going on in Chautauqua County, isn't there?
There is.
And it's a great place to be. I love Chautauqua County. I've spent majority of my life here now, and I wouldn't live anywhere else. People always say, would you move to Florida? Well, sorry guys. I like visiting, but I like it here. So Mikayla, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am finishing up at SUNY Fredonia. I am a sociology major. And I just came to Chautauqua County Health Network about 6 months ago. New job. And so that's kind of what I've been up to, just doing school and then starting my career in the public health workforce. So,
Are you a native of Chautauqua County?
yes, I'm from Panama, New York.
Just around the corner, practically. Okay, and you went to school there and so on?
I went to Panama until about 11th grade, and then I went to Bethel Baptists for the last 2 years. So.
Okay, so right here in town, practically.
Yep.
Okay, so people are listening and they say sociology major. I mean, that's kind of a broad area, isn't it? I mean, what's that? What does that involve?
Particularly, I've done independent studies in urban sociology. So studying our modern day problems, different inequalities, different problems in our communities. So it's really just to focus on our systems and what needs to be improved and the modern day problems that we have and how do we go about fixing them.
An easy situation to handle.
Very, very easy.
Holy
very
mackerel.
solvable.
Wow. Well, you've taken on quite a bit there, but we really need folks like you doing that sort of thing. Because a lot of us, we talk about it, you read about it on Facebook one way or the other, but to really dig into it is a whole other world. So you mentioned public health. Okay, tell us a little about what do you mean by that?
Public health. Well, really we're looking at the different large-scale public health problems, so different health problems. Like it's different than saying, my mom's not feeling well, let me fix that. It's saying, well, the county is suffering from a large-scale problem.
Okay.
So,
larger scale stuff.
Yeah, large scale, like chronic disease. That's a big thing for Chautauqua County right now, and that's particularly what my grant focuses on.
Okay, and we'll get to that
Yeah.
here eventually. Okay, so there you are, living in Panama, growing up and enjoying country life, and you woke up one day and said, I want to be in public health. How'd you get in public health? I mean, that's kind of a specific field, isn't it?
Well, it started out, I was getting my degree at SUNY Fredonia, and I took an urban sociology class, and we learned about streets and the impact they have on people, how it's not just concrete, it's not just line striping, it's so much more, how a street can bring together a community, or how different communities have different problems, different inequalities. And it was really interesting to me, and my professor, Randolph Hawley from SUNY Fredonia, taught that. And he saw this interest I had, and he told me about this internship at Chautauqua County Health Network, which was an independent contractor who would assess different streets in different communities and create a report of those different assessments, and then give that report to our community's leaders, so our town boards. And so I did this independent contracting position, and then the job opened up as project coordinator, community project coordinator for Chautauqua County Health Network. And then I stepped into that role and have been working on that.
So, and you've been there 6 months, you said?
December 4th.
Wow. Where do I begin? Streets. The first thing when you mentioned streets, and I don't know why I thought of this, but I thought, all right, what do I think about streets? And I was thinking immediately, I watch a lot of shows, and maybe you do too, like the Travel Channels, the History Channel. They take you to various ancient ruins and things like that. And I was thinking of the Roman Appian Way, where the roads connected the city. And there's the old saying, all roads lead to Rome. So I'm thinking streets, and my mind was just blowing up with streets. And I haven't really thought about streets before, but yeah, we're on them all the time, aren't we?
Yeah.
So what's the idea of complete streets? And this is a separate project then, or?
So yeah, Complete Streets, it's a part of the grant. And what Complete Streets seeks to do is it changes the decision-making process of our local leaders, and so that when they're doing their budgeting for the year and they're looking at the different road projects, they're making sure to think of all users of the street. So not just cars, but pedestrians, bicyclists, people in wheelchairs, and making the streets comfortable for them. So maybe when you do your sidewalk project, putting in a curb cut so someone on a wheelchair can actually get up on the sidewalk. So it's something that makes our streets inclusive.
Are those? I thought that the curbing for folks in wheelchair was mandated by the federal government. Is not true?
The ADA. But I mean, as we're replacing older roads,
Okay,
we're making sure to think about that, because there's still, roads and there's still sidewalks that are outdated who don't always have that, the curb cuts.
Okay. You don't know this, I don't think you know this, but there's a handful of us guys here that we ride for Roswell for the last couple of years, and I can't see them, but I know their heads are shaking because they're listening in the other side of the wall. We ride through the streets of Western New York, or even when we're riding around Chautauqua County, and it's dangerous at times. And I mean, we got our flashers on, we have helmets, we've got safety equipment, but yet people will honk at you, or they forget that when they open their doors that we're even coming along the lane.
Yeah.
So what's the solution that you guys are proposing then?
Well, we do different things like signs, slow down signs, something as simple as that, but also doing like a shared biking lane, so that you have a designated area on the road for the bikes. So different solutions like that. What can we do that's relatively inexpensive? Like putting on, that like it's called a shared bike lane. Using paint or getting a sign. Different inexpensive things that we can do.
Okay, so help me with this. So, as you know, you and I met at our town board meeting. I'm a town councilman in Ripley. And now I'm sitting here and putting on my town councilman hat, and I'm thinking like, okay, we got Route 20 and we got Route 76, which are both like state highways. So how do we tell New York State people put in a bike lane? How's that work?
That can be really difficult. And what I always start with is, what streets are the villages? What streets are the towns? Ones that aren't necessarily...
So ones we have control
Ones
over.
that you have control over. We start with that because that's easier to work with in the municipality than trying to do a road that's owned by multiple entities, right?
Yeah.
It's still difficult to do, but
Right.
that's always a great start. So we might say, okay, Ripley has this side street and it could use a crosswalk. So, okay, for $300 we can get some reflective paint and do a crosswalk. And that might, start to build momentum. So that's usually where I start.
Okay, so think big, start small.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I going to go with this? So now I'm thinking, all right, now I'm going to be the highway superintendent that says, you want me to do what? And so is there a template? I mean, how do they know how wide these things should be? I mean, do you have guidelines for all this? I mean, I don't know anything about this.
There's no specific formula because every town is different and they all have different needs.
Okay.
So it's from listening to the people, from listening to you guys who are on those roads every day and collaborating to see what needs to be improved. Because one size fits all approach doesn't work because all of our towns have these unique characteristics.
Right. So let me ask the question in a different way then. Is there how wide is a road? I mean, is there a formula for how wide the road has to be and how wide the bike lane can be, and is there enough room for both on these roads? Or
sometimes there's not. Sometimes you have these narrow streets where you can't necessarily put, a bike share. Again, it all just kind of depends on the street.
Okay. All right. So evidently, there's places that they can get this information to figure out how wide it is and so forth. Well, that's good to know. When you say grant, what kind of a grant are you talking about? It's called Complete Streets, or where does it? Who funds it, and how does it work?
So the grant I work on is called Creating Healthy Schools and Communities, and Complete Streets is part of that. So to understand the Creating Healthy, the Complete Streets would start with what is the Creating Healthy Schools and Communities grant, and it's a 5-year grant. It started in 2015 and goes until 2020, and it works in these high-need districts in Chautauqua County, which is Cassadaga, Silver Creek, Ripley, Dunkirk, Jamestown, and Cherry Creek. And they have these higher rates of chronic disease, particularly in Chautauqua County. I think it's 63% of adults are obese. New York State is 60%, so we're higher than that average rate. And so we work to decrease these rates of obesity through a couple of initiatives. Healthy retail, making sure people have access at their independently owned corner stores to healthy foods, but also Complete Streets, making sure that people have safe and walkable streets that encourage them to get out. And so that's where your Complete Streets comes into play.
Okay, so the grant covers a lot of stuff.
It does.
And Complete Streets is part of that. And we can talk about the other stuff later, right?
Yep.
Okay, so with Complete Streets, does it talk about trees and grass and flowers and all that stuff, or?
Yeah, that's one of the things we actually look for when I'm assessing these streets. And when I do these assessments, one of the big factors is appeal. Like, what does it look like when I'm walking? Are there trees for shade? Are there flowers planted? I mean, something that's nice to look at as well.
Okay, so now I get pretty straightforward here with my guess. So people are listening right now, they're saying like, all right, so who trained you to assess? Where did you get that level of expertise? So how do you do this?
We actually use a tool developed by AARP to actually assess the streets.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean AARP, they're working with the aging population, right? So are they, right?
Yes,
yeah, right. I was like, yeah.
I'm listening. I'm not challenging you.
Oh, okay.
You looked at me going, did I get that right or not?
Like, no, yeah. And
you're
so
right,
AARP has a stake in, the Complete Streets because they want their aging population, to have the streets to walk on. So they developed this tool.
Okay.
And
so walk it through. So let's just you're on it. Let's take any street, any town. So you get out of the car and you have like a checklist, or what do you do?
So we have. So the walkability assessment, I actually have some volunteers. Usually they're local volunteers, like your kids at like your National Honor Society. Yeah, right? Okay. You get the kids involved, and their checklist is there's 5 different things. So they look at appeal. So like, are there trees planted? They look at the safety of the street. Like, are there cars going by? Are there distracted drivers? They look at sidewalks. Okay. Are the sidewalks broken and cracked? They look at intersections. So do I have a painted crosswalk?
Okay.
And then they look at specifically just traffic. I mean, because again, traffic plays a big role, but also traffic's involved in the other factor of safety. So they look at these 5 factors and they rate the street on these 5 factors. And then they total those factors together to create an overall rating, which could be anywhere from poor to excellent.
Do we have any poor areas when it comes to Complete Streets?
Sometimes, I mean, you'll assess an area, and there are really poor areas. I'm trying to remember. I've done a couple of assessments.
So probably some dangerous stuff in the way.
Yeah, there's like some narrow streets that I assessed in Jamestown. I'm trying to think. Is it Swan Street? And that one, in Dunkirk, the Swan Street. It has a lot of broken and cracked sidewalks. Okay. And so that would be poor because it didn't have a nicely painted intersection. The sidewalks were crumbling. Okay.
So everybody has something that they could work on. It's like good news, bad news. The good news is we have trees. The bad news is the trees are really old and they're pushing the sidewalks up. So yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 with trees. But with ornamental trees, they usually stay smaller and they really do make a community look really pretty. Okay, so now you have people out there assessing it, and they put together the numbers. So then what happens?
So we put together this report, and another thing to know is we do about 10 areas per community when we do these assessments.
Okay, it's just not one street. So it's
Yeah,
kind of like
10 different streets.
Oh.
And we take those assessments and we turn it into a table, a color-coded table, so that, you
pretty
know,
scientific, I guess.
yeah, this color-coded table of all the different areas. And we write about these areas as well. Like, we don't just say, okay, your area is very poor. We say, okay, your area has some strengths, but it has some weaknesses as well, and we write about that. And the report that we do, we actually give it to our town board members. So like I did an assessment for Silver Creek, and with 10 areas that needed to be improved, and then I gave that assessment, or I'm going to be giving that assessment, I think it's like this Monday at the Silver Creek meeting, their town board meeting. And then they will use that when they're considering projects, for next year with their budgeting. And so then they can have this wonderful little report right in front of them. And so they're all on the same page. They're literally on the same page looking at the report, right? And then they can use it for, okay, what projects do I want to focus on for this year? What needs to be improved?
Okay. That's a nice service. And, I'm thinking about various towns and villages, not to pick on Mayville, but I think they've done a bunch of streetscaping here in town. There's a bike path and so forth. Now, small villages have small budgets, bigger places have a little bigger budgets,
Yes.
but they got to plan ahead, and that's the secret. Now, I got a question while you were talking, because these things pop up. I told you it'll happen. The question was about towns, cities that have brick streets.
What?
Brick.
Oh, brick
in the
streets, yeah.
Brick. How does that fare as far as any assessments? Is that a plus or a minus, or doesn't matter?
I'm not sure. I really haven't come across a lot of, brick streets. I mean, they're mostly concrete.
Okay. You get into Jamestown, there's quite a few over there.
Yeah, I haven't done an assessment yet for that one. I've done about 3 assessments, but I'm planning to do one this year, and so we'll see what we come across.
Okay, so good question. Put that in the back of your mind, maybe, because to me, they're beautiful. When you see them, and going back to the Roman Appian way with this, the stones have been there for thousands of years. Those bricks have really stood the test of time. And but there are other people that say, it's the bouncing. So
Yeah.
everybody has a different opinion on what's appropriate. Let's see. I had some questions here. So let's go back to something that really piqued my interest here. Oh, hang on a minute. I got an updated question. The question is, how many of these these evaluations can you do a year?
It all depends on who passes a policy. Really, where we do these evaluations are in the municipalities that pass that policy.
Oh, so you just don't go in uninvited?
Nope. Yeah, we always.
By the way, town XYZ, your streets are really terrible.
I know.
And
Yeah, because you want them to be in the right frame of mind, So if a town is in that frame of mind of complete streets, they're going to be more receptive to that report that you do.
Yeah.
So-
So you ask for an invitation before you do it.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Where was I? So, chronic disease. Okay. So I kind of understand the complete streets. If you have nice streets, people are out and walking and safe, encourages cycling, running,
Yeah.
walking, and so forth. So I get that. My concern was, and you definitely perked my ears up when you said chronic disease. Okay. I like to think that most of us are pretty healthy. So what do you mean by chronic diseases? What are they? I know what a chronic disease is, but I mean, what is your list of chronic diseases for these communities that came up on your list here?
Particularly diabetes and heart disease. Diabetes, I'm not sure the number, but we have a lot of those cases here. And also, we have obesity. We have an obesity epidemic because there's 60% or 63% of those in Chautauqua County are obese.
Yeah, I was reading a report that I found online that talks about Chautauqua County. We're above the norm for the New York State, as I recall. And what do you think is causing the obesity thing?
I mean, there's a lot of factors. You can't pinpoint it to one thing, but some of the factors, that we focus on in the grant are the food we eat. We eat a lot of fatty foods. We have a lot of our stores that sell these high-fat foods, right, that don't have a lot of nutritional quality to them. And so we're eating more and we're exercising less.
Right. And as you know, well, maybe you don't know this, I sit on the Westfield Memorial Hospital Board as well, and we're involved with topics like these things. And it comes to my mind that a lot of these chronic diseases are connected with the change in the processing of food and other kinds of additives. And I'm not telling anybody anything new, but I'm putting it more on a local spin. It's like, instead of it just reading about it in a nationwide epidemic, now it's hitting in these communities. And when I think about the foods that you eat on a trip, what do you do on a trip? You buzz into a fast food, you grab something and go, and you're sitting there eating, and you're not even moving. I mean, you're in a vehicle because I just got off of a trip. And we're seeing more and more of that. And I'm not here to pick on the potato industry, because potatoes are wonderful, but I swear off French fries when I'm on the road, because I mean, by the time I get done on a 2-week on the road trip, and if I went every place I ate, they'll offer French fries or some type of potato. My system would be like concrete after a while. So my personal opinion, I'm not slamming the potato industry, but I mean, it's just me personally, that would be just too much for me. I would be my death. But obesity, okay. I'm gonna put this out there for my listeners, because a lot of times we think of obesity as being this Jabba the Hutt, this huge creature. But obesity is I don't want to say it's a word that sounds horrible. It sort of does, but it's based on body mass indexing, and I think a lot of people, including myself, are overweight, and we don't realize that we got a lot more weight than we need. So what are you proposing besides streets, and how do you get good foods into their hands?
We have to, I think one of the things we can really do to help is farmers markets. I think that it's changing kind of that, I'd say, culture, like a healthy culture, like instead of promoting, the fast food restaurant, on a Saturday afternoon, how would we go to the farmer's market? I mean, I think just changing that culture where we're not in that frame of mind of just going to the fast food and driving in our car, but let's all hang out and walk to the farmer's market.
I'm a musician. You don't know that, but I'm a musician. And the last few summers, I've played at farmers markets. I've played at the Westfield one and the Jamestown one, and it's just wonderful to see the fresh produce. And from what I've read and studied about food, that we're better for it if we eat food that's grown in our own soil, with our own water, because then we're not bringing whatever it is from other parts of the world. Look at the whole romaine lettuce thing. I mean, if we ate our own lettuce, we wouldn't have these issues, but we're constantly bringing in stuff from other parts of wherever. And again, I'm not slamming the food industry. I'm just saying there's something to be said for the local farmers, and raising our own products right here and partaking of those. Okay, so how do you change an entire community to look and act differently and change their behavior? How do you do that?
Well, it's not done overnight. And as you know that, you're on your town board. It takes a lot of time, but it's making these small changes gradually, like going into work sites and helping them with policies and saying, okay, like, you have this culture at your work where when you have a meeting, you offer donuts, right? But let's say, instead of just saying, let's take away your donuts, let's offer some fruit on the side. Let's gradually make these changes and encourage, because I think that when you just try to go from black to white and say, let's take away your donuts, or, it doesn't work. So you have to just, make these gradual changes.
Everywhere in your lifestyle, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's not just food, and it's not just exercise. You have to combine the two, because they're both very important to helping with those rates of, chronic disease.
Question popped up on my phone was, okay, so you work with communities and organizations looking at a whole concept of a community, which is very interesting, because it's like looking down at 30,000 feet rather than just one person at a time. You're looking at the whole health of that community. do you offer programs for weight loss, or is that that's somebody else's job?
Yeah, because ours is more, we do a lot of policy and systems change. So looking at, the policies of your work sites, the policies of your towns, because I feel like that really makes that lasting change when you have these policies in place, but also encouraging implementing these policies, because you can have a policy and you can sit on it.
It's basically a great doorstop.
Yeah, exactly. So just encouraging and building that momentum around the policy.
Okay. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today is Mikayla Certo. She's with the Chautauqua County Health Network, and she is the Community Project Coordinator. And we're talking about complete streets and just healthy lifestyles. And if you have a question, please do give us a call at 753-52225. And if you can't catch us right now, catch us at 2 and 8 later on. Right here at Access Chautauqua, or you can catch us on YouTube, so don't be shy. Okay, so we talked about stores offering things. So my mind is now back where I wanted it to be. I needed to do that little public service announcement right there so I catch my breath and think. I think about growing up as a kid in Buffalo. We used to have a guy who would come down the street called a huckster, and he'd be yelling strawberries, fresh strawberries, or he'd be selling lettuce, or he had this regular cart. And then, the local grocery store was on every fifth corner. You could go to a grocery store that had fresh produce and meats and things like that. So that was in the city. Then when I moved to Chautauqua County, some places had local groceries, and now where are they? They're disappearing.
Yeah.
And your cities certainly have some of the bigger places, bigger stores and things like that. But you take some of the towns you just mentioned, including my own, the local grocery store, the whatever brand that you want to call it, A&P, Red and White, whatever it was called, they disappeared. And so we ended up sort of in the can mentality where we've got things in a can or in a bottle, but it's already been processed for us. And in my own hometown in Ripley, I'm going to do a little plug for them. What used to be the Country Fair, it's just been reopened. I think it's called the Ripley Food Mart, and they were just communicating through town newsletter that they're going to offer fresh fruits and vegetables.
That's amazing.
And that's not in competition with anybody else in the community. Nobody's doing it unless it's the farmer's market. Well, that's only open during a couple months a year. So I was really pleased to see that and knowing that we were going to talk about that today. So I think each of our communities needs to think about, where's that outlet? Where do we get those fresh things? And I don't know what you do, but encourage, your store owners, maybe have a section if they can to provide fresh fruits, right?
Yeah.
And vegetables. And then take it home and cook it correctly and not kill it. Okay, so we talked a little bit about obesity and that we all got to check it out. And when I go to the doctors, it's like, here we go again. I don't even want to get on the scale. But you exercise, you do the best you can, and keep at it. Diabetes is the one that scares the wits out of me more than anything else, I think. But it's kind of connected to obesity some ways, right? So can you talk a little bit about diabetes? We've talked about that here on the show before, but how about it?
Yeah, I'm still learning about it, but I know that there are different ways that there's the diabetes, that you're born with, but there's also diabetes that, you can help prevent through different measures. Eating healthy. And that's where, that comes into play, is if we decrease those rates of obesity, if, you're eating healthy, you're going to be less likely to get, I think it's that diabetes. I'm not sure if it's type 1, type 2. I always mix those up.
Well, it's juvenile and adult. So
yes.
The adult, right. I forget too. So we, in our families, a lot of us, not me personally, but I know a variety of people throughout our extended family have diabetes. And you're absolutely right. It seems to be at an epidemic level. Everybody seems like, I'm metformin, I'm taking that medicine. And it's like, why? Diabetes when I was a kid was for old people, and you didn't hear much about it. Now it's not for old people; it's for just about every age now. Yeah. So I'm sure you know this, and if you don't know that, make it something up. Where does the United States stand in diabetes?
I don't know. I know just for at least Chautauqua County. We have higher rates of those kinds of things compared to New York State, but I'm not sure of the exact.
Okay.
But I know that we have really high rates, and it is a big problem with our kiddos now. You know?
Oh yeah, children are obese and developing juvenile diabetes and so on. Well, things I can't remember the exact numbers, but I do know that we're really not very good on the scale, and that we are getting heavier, and diabetes and heart and cancer straight up and so forth. Oh boy. Well, on a cheery note, let's have a caller. You ready? Good morning, caller.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, Mikayla. Good morning, Doc. This is Linda Spalding.
Hi, Lynn.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
I want to know, were you out Wednesday driving around?
Are you talking about me?
Yes,
I was in an airplane.
you were.
We were coming back from Florida. I didn't get on the road till later in the evening. So no, I wasn't driving. Were you?
Not on the main roads, no. It was.
You guys got a lot of snow up this way. Holy moly.
Yeah, I heard Mayville got, what, a foot and a half on Wednesday
It has
morning?
to be that much here. When
Yes.
like I was saying earlier on the show, when I pulled in, I go, what is all this? Where did this come from? Ripley doesn't even have quite that much. Well, maybe about 6 inches, I think, something like that. Wow. So,
Well, I saw the snow swans. Well, I heard them. I saw them flying overhead. I didn't see them swimming in the lake, but I heard them. So they're around.
Randy and I were just talking about the swans this morning. He said he wants to get some pictures. So he's got are they down toward your way?
Well, I haven't seen them
Just here.
in the water, but I saw them flying overhead
Okay, Randy,
over my house.
here's your lead. Check it out.
Yep.
Okay. Lynn, we're talking about a variety of chronic diseases, and what's your read on obesity and diabetes with the older population? Are you seeing this increasing?
Well, there's a general increase, I guess, especially with the youth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's related to not getting enough exercise, because there is a relationship, well, for the youth anyway,
Right.
and for anybody, because anybody with diabetes knows that if, the more you exert yourself, it lessens your need for whatever medication that you have to take.
Right. All kind of works together, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not seeing so much obesity in seniors. Are you?
It's in pockets, I think, but as far as the statistics go, Chautauqua County is in the high end, right?
A lot of those chronic diseases, we're definitely on the higher end with that. And
Well, and Chautauqua County does have a very high rate of senior population. In fact, it's over 20%, I think, for the group age 60 and over, and we are the highest percentage we have been in New York State of individuals 60 and over, and New York State has one of the highest per capita rates of people 60 and over.
So we're aging
throughout the nation.
aging state and an aging county then, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, that can be changing, though, because of different industries that are coming in there. So,
Sure.
But it's a great place for seniors to live. I think diabetes is on the rise, but I'm really surprised to see that with seniors, because I know they eat very healthy. I don't see my own personal experience, I don't see many of them eating junk food and things that aren't good for you. But it may be the fact that they're not getting enough exercise.
Right. Could be one of the factors. But overall, diabetes is up, and so is obesity, right?
Well, also, improper nutrition is related to poverty.
Right. And we have a high poverty level in this county as well.
Yes, we do. We have the Chautauqua County has the second highest poverty rate in New York State. Bronx is the first.
Wow.
Chautauqua County is the second highest. It's pretty startling. So a lot of that could be related to the fact that they can't, afford to buy enough nutritious foods, the junk foods and that sort of stuff.
And we were talking just about access. I mean, even if you had the money, you can't. Where is it? Where do you get the stuff?
Exactly.
Where do you get the good foods? And things like that.
people lack transportation too to get there.
Well, now in the summer months and in the early autumn, we have wonderful fresh fruits and vegetables.
Right.
And I don't think it can compare to anywhere. I just love it here at this time of year because it's so rich with wonderful fresh fruits and vegetables.
You know, I was just looking in my cupboard yesterday, and I was so proud of myself. I gazed upon my blueberry jam that I made from my own blueberries, and that's the whole thing, isn't it? Like we were talking about, it's producing and making our own food and storing it. I mean, that's just a whole lot healthier than, you know, buying foods that have additives to it. I mean, I know what went into it. It's all good stuff.
Well, what you mentioned too is the additives that are put in the food that we purchase, and the hormones that are injected into the meat.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why venison is so good for people, because it's natural food.
Right. Yeah, and it's local, once again.
Right.
Yeah, so what's going on in your world at the Office for the Aging?
Well, we're still looking for transport aid in Jamestown.
Oh, come on.
Well,
I feel terrible. I haven't filled that for you yet.
Well, I have a person that's very interested, and he's very qualified, but the distance is
it's tough.
It is something, but we're going to talk about that. But we're always looking for that sort of thing, and of course, clerical support people.
Okay.
We have our computer training that's going on at the Westfield Library, and it's temporarily suspended in Brockton because we're getting another trainer, but that will be coming up pretty soon.
All right, we'll share that when that comes up. All right, and Lynn, I understand that your office is doing something for the troops. Am I? Or no, for the seniors, you're putting together packages?
Well, yes, they always do that, but we get a lot of support from a Chautauqua institution.
Okay.
And particularly Ed Schmidt, Mr. Schmidt, he does a tremendous job organizing and getting people to donate. And they provide a wonderful package, and then they give it to the Office for the Aging, and then we collect throughout the county. They send donations to our office, and then the Office for the Aging packages and then delivers the baskets.
Wonderful. Okay, Lynn, if anybody has any questions about what we just talked about, why don't you give them the phone number? We've got it on the screen here.
Okay, and I'd like to mention, too, there are other services with the Office for the Aging besides the Senior Employment Program. They are still doing the health insurance counseling.
That's right. Till what, December 7th?
Yes.
Okay.
Our number is on the screen, 753-4471. Have a great weekend, and I hope you get to see those swans.
Okay, and you take care. Thanks, Lynn, as always.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're going to get back to Mikayla Certo here, and you sent us a couple pictures. Let's pop those up, okay?
Oh, right.
Jeff, can you pop those up for us? Excuse me. So there they are.
There they are.
All right, so what are we looking at here with some smiling faces?
So this is a sidewalk that was able to be repaired through a mini grant that Sinclairville actually received through Chautauqua County Health Network. Okay. So, and Chautauqua County Health Network, they did this mini grant in collaboration with the Department of Health.
Oh.
And this mini grant was meant to help people do complete streets related projects.
Super.
And so this is actually, the sidewalk is in front of Charlotte Villa in Sinclairville, which is senior citizen housing.
All right, and the next picture?
This is just some, that is us.
No, there it is.
There we go.
Oh, that's just another view of it.
Yeah, that's just them kind of walking on the sidewalk. And so they did a couple of community walks on that sidewalk to kind of draw attention to the project.
Okay.
And again, encouraging that culture of just leisure time, walking out in the community. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Mikayla, we've got about a half a minute left.
Yeah.
It's gone really quick. So if anyone is listening right now, they want to know more information or talk with you, is there a phone number they can call?
Yep. It's 716-338-0010, extension 1209.
Wow. Okay. And where are you located?
I am located at 200 Harrison Street in Jamestown, Suite 200. It's the old Crescent Tool building.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay. So last few seconds, anything you want to share real quick?
No, just if you have any questions, any feedback, call me. So.
Okay. Super. Mikayla Certo, thank you for joining me today
and
helping us think about our lifestyles and our communities as a whole and what we can do to make all of us healthier for it. So we're going to do this again next Saturday morning here at 9 o'clock on Chautauqua Sunrise. Thank you, Mikayla Certo, for joining me today. And we're going to have a great weekend. It's going to rain, but it's going to melt all the snow. So you take care, stay warm, and we'll see you all next Saturday right here on Access Chautauqua. Bye now.
Oh, it was good.
How was that?